r/nosleep. Posted by Reddit user likeeyedid. I'm playing a game called Smile, but nobody taught me the rules. Part 1. I wish I could tell you how my friends and I were sucked into this excruciating pain and darkness that this game has. I wish I could tell you that my friends and I were tricked by a higher power, and we're now living through a curse, not able to free ourselves. But that wouldn't be entirely true. We wanted this. We wanted to join the sickness because it promised us a reward we couldn't say no to. I made the conscious decision that I would be damn part of this, and now I can't stop, and neither can my friends. Not until it's over. When you start the game, you are part of it, and there is no going back. And not knowing the rules could cost you your life. So if you ever get sucked into a game called Smile, maybe my advice could save you a limb or two. But be aware, I'm still figuring things out myself. Let me tell you about Smile. This all started when my friend Haley got kicked out of med school. Becoming a doctor had been her dream ever since she was a kid, and having that taken away from her hands must have been heartbreaking. Ultimately, it also opened up her schedule for the upcoming madness. Haley and Lucas were my best friends, and while we did have a past full of peculiar occurrences that led us to mistrust each other at one occasion or another, we had become closer than we'd ever been to anyone, including my family. So of course, the three of us were together to help Haley numb the pain of future loss. I had invited them to my apartment, a small, cozy place I scored on the ground floor of a flat building. We were sitting in front of the TV watching silly cartoons when I read an email. The subject said, "Smile." It wasn't the first time I had gotten a weird mail saying nothing but the word smile. It had been happening for the last few days, but thinking this was nothing, I ignored it. The email address was just a combination of numbers, the typical kind of scam. 5252-181-131@smile.com. The emails were easy to ignore, but suddenly, I was receiving the same word as text messages. Smile, smile, smile. "Dude, your phone is blowing up," Lucas said. "When did you become so popular?" It's just spam." I held the phone in his face, showing him the last text, all with the same message. "Well, why don't you click it?" Haley chimed in. "Yes, Haley. Very smart idea. Why don't I open this obscure link that will surely not give me a virus?" She rolled her eyes. "Well, how about calling that number then? It's not anonymous," Lucas said. I thought about it for a moment, and I would lie if I said I wasn't curious. Besides, whoever was behind this had somehow gotten a hold of both my number and my mail address. I figured I might recognize their voice. The phone rang 5 times. I thought about hanging up, but then I finally heard them speak. "Smile," an old voice whispered. "Smile, Alex," they added in a louder tone. I looked at my friend staring at me with big eyes. How did this person know my old name? I had changed it to Flynn a while ago. "Who the fuck are you?" I shouted. I certainly did not recognize the person, but the rusty voice sent shivers down my spine. The response was a laugh, followed by a greeting and a short dial tone. "Welcome to the game, Alex. And don't forget to smile." I tried calling again, but the number had been disconnected. For days, my friends and I tried to figure out more about the strange experience, but there was nothing we could find, having only the word smile as information. But as it turned out, we didn't need to look. They were already on their way to us. The three of us were sitting at a diner, eating lunch, when a strange man, dressed in a purple jester suit, walked inside. The second I heard him hum, The hairs on my arms stood up. The man was wearing a mask on top of his normal face, a mask with a massive smile reaching from ear to the other. There were a couple more people inside the diner, but nobody else seemed to pay attention to him. The jester made his way towards our table and dropped off a small, purple package. "Hey, who are you?" Lucas quickly got up from his chair. The jester raised his shoulders and took a bow before quickly disappearing outside. The package had a card attached to it with the word "smile," as well as a message on the back. "The most lovely hello to you, our friends, and game pieces. We cordially invite you to join us on this wonderful adventure. There are many rewards to be won, much fun to be had, and many souls to be mushed. The three of you have been chosen as Team W. How brilliant. In this package, you'll find everything you need for the adventure. You will be looking for the jesters, imposters, and even a princess. Thrilling, isn't it? May the game begin, adventurers." We exchanged a quick look before tearing up the package. Inside, we found a phone, a knife, and 3 masks that looked the same as the mask of the jester. "What the actual fuck?" Haley muttered. Guys, check this out." Lucas had opened the phone from the package. Inside there was an app called Contestants that had personal descriptions as well as pictures of what we assumed were other teams. Some of the people were smiling towards the camera. Others were wearing a mask with a fake smile. Round 1. Take a photo of your team. Reward, $100. The notification popped up, and just a second later we were looking at our own faces being filmed in front of a camera on the phone. "Guys, smile," Haley said, and while it did feel extremely unsettling, I followed her command. Lucas, however, didn't change his serious expression one bit. "Beautiful. Well, 2 out of 3, but we'll get that fixed. Round 1 starts in a few hours." We didn't believe it at first, but Haley and I both received the money. Of course, it was even stranger that they had our bank details. Everything about this game was deeply violating, but we had been sucked in. Not only did we need to find out more about what was going on, but part of us were also excited about it. We hadn't been on any adventures for a long time, and at least this one, well, it paid. Haley and Lucas decided to stay with me for the time being. We wanted to be together when we received the next assignment, and most of all, we wanted to find out as much as we could about this game. "Wasn't it strange that nobody paid attention to that weirdo in the diner?" Haley asked back at home. Lucas was still in the bathroom taking a shower. "Yeah, it's almost like they knew the person and what was going on. Like, they purposely didn't look," I responded. She nodded. "We should go through some photos. Maybe we'll recognize someone," she said, and opened up the app. We swiped through dozens of photos. There was nobody in there I recognized in the slightest. Haley kept looking through the phone while I researched some more on my laptop. "Lucas has been in there pretty long. Do you think he fell asleep in there?" I laughed. Flynn, they uploaded our photo." Haley's hand was shaking as she handed over the phone. There were 2 of us smiling, awkwardly, towards the camera. But that wasn't the horrifying part. Lucas was sitting next to us, wearing the mask. "Do you remember him putting it on?" she asked. "No, he definitely didn't. Maybe they added it onto the photo." "Yeah, but do you see that?" She pointed towards the corner of the mask. It looks like there was blood dripping from it. The head was photoshopped into the rest, but it wasn't Lucas's face underneath. The lighting was much darker, though. "Lucas!" I shouted towards the bathroom, but he didn't answer. "Your friend broke a rule, and he had to pay." Finally, he opened the door. His eyes looked empty and red. In his hand, he held the knife from the package. On the corner of his mouth were deep cuts on each side. "I had to do it," he whispered. "They know everything. My past, my family, my home." "Shit, man. We need to get you to a doctor." Lucas shook his head. "I have a feeling we'd be breaking a rule. I can't break another one." "How do you know you broke one?" Haley asked while she got a towel for Lucas's bloody mouth. "They sent me my punishment." He wouldn't show us exactly what the text said and stayed quiet for most of the evening, but I knew my friend wouldn't mutilate himself like that for no reason. He had a reason, like the rest of us. This game had sucked us in, and there was no going back now. Round 2. Find the gesture. Reward: $100 for a photo, $1,000 for an ear, and $100,000 for his life. An ear? His life? Do they want us to kill him? Haley shrieked. I mean, taking a photo should be enough, right? Sounds like we can choose. How are we even supposed to find him? Lucas asked. He looked real messed up with his cuts in his mouth, but somehow, he seemed even more sure that he wanted to continue. Not that we actually had a choice at that point. Guys, do you see that? Haley pointed her finger towards my living room window. There was someone standing right outside of it. I recognized the tips of the jester's hat first. Then my eyes went into the creepy smile. He just stood there, looking at us with his head slightly tilted. And then he started waving. Before we could process what was going on, let alone take a photo, he grabbed something out of his pocket and threw it against the glass and ran off. The initial shock settled. We got up and ran towards the window, but he had already disappeared into the darkness of the night. There was a stain on the glass from whatever he had thrown. Haley opened up the window and started climbing out. Living on the ground floor felt both pretty handy and horrifying at that moment. This creep had gotten dangerously close, and worst of all, they knew where I lived. I sighed and followed Haley outside. Fuck, why didn't we take the damn picture? Lucas asked. Check this out, though. He left us a map, I said. It was lying there on the ground behind the window, with a little ribbon on it. That's not what he threw against the glass, though, Haley said, as she pointed the torch of her phone down towards something slimy between the grass. A bloody, cut-off ear. That's where we stood, sucked into the smile game, not knowing what our next steps were supposed to be. Did the jester just give us his ear so we wouldn't take his life? Or was this a trick to make us break a rule? If you hear about a game called Smile, don't play it. Run as fast as you can. But I guess if you heard about it, it's already too late. Just remember this one thing. For now, don't forget to smile.